He's a man who loves his classic literature.
It's the beard. It's the beard.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings fan right there.
Oh.
He said it's named after the Dwarven city. He is a shopkeeper by day and a PUBG lover by night. So he's a guy with a full-time job. He plays with the boys because he enjoys it. He's just happy to be here. I think that's the nature of Senegal and their performance so far. But it's improving. They got 4th, I think, in the last game, 8th and 7th in the previous ones in Erangel. So they're slowly but surely starting to get comfortable with the settings here, get comfortable with better computers and better ping times. And I think, honestly, it's probably only upward for them in terms of their position on the leaderboard.
But as you mentioned, I think this is their first LAN, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%.
So it might be a little bit, they might be a little bit nervous, but also that you talked about, they're playing at home with kind of crappy computers. They don't have the best stuff, so they're playing with really low FPS. So it's a hard change when you're coming in here.
It's a very hard change.
Having really good hardware, getting good FPS. It might sound like the dream, but it might actually be bad for them because you're not used to this flow.
Well, and that's what we said yesterday. They had 87 kills during the season. That's not great, right? That's actually not good. That's pretty bad. But they said that's obvious because we couldn't fight. Like, we can't see anybody. Like, when they just skip across our screen. And we've seen this before in tournaments when some of our teams from, like, a little bit more obscure regions make it in. Day one is learning to fight again because you know how to aim, but it's very different. When you're running at a really heavy ping, you've got to truly lead the guy you're shooting at. Here, it's a very different ballgame. So day one was a learning experience. And honestly, I will not judge Sangal on day one. I'm going to judge them exclusively on day 2 and 3 because they needed those 6 games to adjust.
We could judge maybe the boys on the board right now. Let's talk about the top killers, shall we? Is this a surprise at all? Wookie Bookie up there all day. Fuzzface up there all day. Gemty, I mean, these guys, I mean, they just are holding their top spots easy.
Oh yeah, we see a more even spread now, team-wise, but still 2 FaZe players up there and James holding top. We are not surprised about that, I'd say.
James will keep climbing. Wookie Bookie will start climbing now that we're back into their territory. I think FaZe is back down to 2 players on the leaderboard. I expect that to stay about the same as we go to the end of the day. And hopefully Na'Vi, again, if they can pick up their game in Miramar, will hopefully stay there too. But we got some new teams like Wildcard. We saw them sort of back in the mix in this one. M19 was playing pretty aggressive in this game as well. So look for those guys to maybe be knocking on the door.
We will indeed, because it's time, gentlemen, that we start the 5th match of the day. Let's head on over to the casters right now. It's Sado and Avnqr.
It is Sado and Avnqr. And Avnqr, I have to say, we had some surprises in that last game. Snaking on Miramar isn't the easiest. There's not as much coverage, but they got a bit of a field to work with. And Kaint and Nova, obviously, with Purdy, had 2 remarkable plays that really changed that game entirely.
They completely spoiled the game for Liquid and Ghost. I'd like to see, you know, a full-fledged 3-on-4 from Ghost and Liquid there, but unfortunately for them, didn't happen. Kaint snuck up, completely spoiled the chances of them, unfortunately for Liquid. But 3rd, still 200 points.
Absolutely.
A lot of kills. They had 14 kills in that game. So that's 340 points.
Yeah, and James goes to the top of the leaderboard now for kills overall. Goes to show you how close it is. Wookie Bookie obviously added a few more to his total and continues to be at the top or thereabout. 3rd from 2nd, past the 2 FaZe guys. You get the point. FaZe going out 16th, however, that's going to be something we have to highlight yet again. Liquid, I expect more consistency from them on this map, but if FaZe want to try and retain that lead, look, let's face it, you play 9 on each map, you can't. All right, listen, we'll leave you in a second, man. All right, chill out.
Calm down,
it's a little slow.
Calm down,
you gotta just let the camera do its thing. But listen, FaZe they can't just rely on Erangel to win this whole event. So they might have this massive lead right now, but they have to get some Miramar results.
100%. I mean, as we said, like, this is 6 Miramar in a row. Like, you've got to get into the groove because you face 5 more maps. So let's see what's going to happen here. Unfortunately for them, I mean, they rode straight up into 2 teams, actually 3 teams that are fighting. We saw Gates there. We saw multiple teams just be completely pinched in there.
Can I just point out an interesting fact about Pittsburgh as they're rocking the black and yellow? That song is actually about Pittsburgh, black and yellow. They're the only team, only city in the world that all of their professional sports teams have the same colors.
Oh,
the
really?
Steelers, the Penguins, the Pirates, and now the Knights.
Oh.
There you go.
So it's black.
Black and yellow.
Black and yellow,
goldish,
or goldish
yellow.
And then white is like the 3rd color. Whatever.
Yeah, unofficial.
Yeah, okay, cool.
This is another very even plane. So we get very similar to what we had last time. Slightly more southern toward the west, but still very easy to spread out.
Sharp shot and the guys from Wildcard straight up jumping out.
Jumping, yeah.
Yeah, they saw Elazaha was open the last game.
To be fair, they did this yesterday on Miramar as well, and they were going very early whenever they could. Last time they were around Cabrera and over to where the ruins, the trailer park, etc. This time they're going to go, as you say, over to Butt Hair. So good position. I always wanted to say that. I'm sorry, but they'll get as older themselves. And you're right, they would have scouted that last game.
El Butt Hair. I like it. I just want to point out you said that. But that's beautiful.
Thank you.
I mean, it's the obvious one. I've called it a few times that. It's, I mean, I'm not fluent in Spanish, I'm not good at Spanish, but I mean, I'm getting the hang of it.
It's better than my pronunciations on most of these locations.
That's good, though. Down to Los Leones, Moonwolf M19, and it looks like there's a Penta player. Chronix is just slightly off it. I'm not sure what Penta wants to do because they're not going to Chumacera because that's set to destroy. Lions is between Picado and Chumacera. So they're looting the compounds out there, and that's kind of also where Knights usually go. So they're going to be stuck in power grid in the area around that. We'll see what's going to happen with that. But Penta, they're forced to be pushed very far south, looting the outskirts of the southern parts of Los Leones. La Bandita not taken. Nova is going to completely take over Impala. Do not want to fight for that. So, you asked for it.
This is the exact circle I wanted. Massive western shift. Look at that. TG is going to be loving this. The fact that they were long jumping toward Pozo, there's lots of availability. Sangle didn't quite go as far this time to Pozo. They actually went for San Martin, but this is a car. That's a nice tier 3 vest to pick up for Krama. He'll happily welcome that.
Yeah.
But this is car written on it all day long. I'm surprised not to see more teams instantly trying to get cars in transition to the top side of this circle. I don't know that anyone will be aware that Cabrera is open because last game, anyone that had scouts for them or looked into the information, that was occupied by WC. But at the same time, it's WC, and if you've been scouting and following the trends, you'll know they're just jumping early, so they shouldn't be there.
I mean, Wildcat here in a great position. They're going to be just taking El Asaha, and then they can easily rotate because they kind of know that, you know, they had La Cabrera last time, so there's probably not going to be teams there, so their rotation is going to be easy. They're just going to be shifting on all the way up to the north and coming in from La Cabrera. But, I mean, Gates, yeah, they do have the circle, but it's so hard to hold down these type of circles. Yes, you're in the middle, but, I mean, you want to do like a 1-1-1-1 split, making sure that you can hold down multiple places of the map so the third shifts and the fourth shifts. If it shifts away from you in a hard shift, then you're going to be able to get into that zone, or maybe even having a great position already there. FaZe, though, great position for them. Great circle for them.
I mean, absolutely. If FaZe is in a circle at any point, it's a great circle for them. Let's just say that. Yep. I mean, if they're in there, they're in the fight. It's as simple as that. I agree that Gates, it's not gifted to them by any means. I just think the fact that they're out there so early, they can establish, like you say, their territory. They can get control. People have to come to them. They're not going to be put in as awkward situations trying to find. And okay, so this is the other thing I want to point out. Trying to find space. Not surprising at all to see Sengel already with one player on the move. This is their tactic over and over again. They talked about it on the desk. It is nice to see them. It was 5th place, just to clarify. Getting a result in the last map. This is a team that plays with, I think, 25 FPS regularly in Turkey. First land for them. They can't even take fights a lot of the time because of their equipment. So I thought maybe they would be aggressive in this event, thinking, hey, boys, look at how smooth this is. Let's go get them. And it didn't really materialize into that way, but they are starting to come into their own in this event. And more importantly, they'll be learning from this with each and every game.
I mean, this is a huge accomplishment for them. You know, we've had 48 teams in CIS, 48 teams in NA and EU. So it's a huge accomplishment just being able to get here. But CeeLo, though, he's going to be taking some shots at Shaxi, and he might not be able to survive it, though. Only a micro Uzi left, and 25 shots. Shaxi is going to take him down with the Scar. Now he's pushing on that. And he's going to be taken down here. Nobody's even close to CeeLo at this point, so he's just going to be taking him down and getting all his loot. And taking over this position, which is very close to the center of the circle, so great position here on the high ground.
Ambitious to try and fire a moving car with an Uzi. I mean, ultimately asking for it at that point in time. As soon as Shaky's got position that he knew he could hold off easy with a Scar.
It might be the pufferfish kind of tactic, you know, making sure they kind of scare them away.
When I was in Hong Kong, I was asking what this delicacy that I just ate was, and I asked the oh, look at this, Lions trying to catch Liquid in transition. They're going early. They've left Picado. Asriel doing damage. Scoom's going to fight this. He'll stop the Murata, and it's Ibby that's going to play the backside of it. Samty, he's inside of the car as well. I thought maybe they would get out and try and play that ridge line along the backside of the road because there's certainly cover there.
Oh,
that's not.
That's still points. 10 points right there.
Back on all fours. They they've run someone over almost every game on their own team. So maybe try not to kill each other with cars.
That's a good idea.
But back to the point about the pufferfish, I said, what is this dish? And he said, chicken bubblefish. And that was like a direct translation from Mandarin, apparently. Chicken bubblefish. That's a pufferfish. I thought it was brilliant. Yeah.
I love it. Because it tastes like chicken or what?
I guess. It was just the way they translated it. And I was like, okay, I'll look that one up on Google.
All right. Pufferfish indeed. And it's a kind of a tactic that we know from multiple teams. If you're holding down a position with just one guy, you just want to shoot at everybody, making sure that they don't breach you. More and more teams, they have figured it out that they just listen for the guns. Listen for what bullets is coming after you, what caliber it is. And look at this, though. This is a crate and a half.
MK14, 8x scope, absolutely. With the amount of hills that you have in this north side. The fact is that Sangol's got really good position. High side of Pozo toward that church, you can pretty much overlook the entire city. You can just overwatch it. And if they rotate in and hold crater fields, that's another open position where it's not so much that they are necessarily going to get in fights from there, but they have a high ground with so much awareness and so much territory that they can ascertain information, therefore rotate accordingly, but also not have anyone cross and fight. It's basically safety just from positioning in that sense. So Sangol's actually, I think, going to be, depending on obviously the next shift of the circle, in a really good position. If that goes north, Sangol's in a prime spot. And that crate's going to go Dignitas. Does he see it? I don't think on Civil. Yeah, Civil. It looks like he might be out to it now.
It's a few hundred meters away from it at the moment, though. We'll see if he gets it. Might have not even spotted it, though. James, 2x SLR. He kind of wants some more range on that, though. But we'll see. He might be able to get it off a fight later. But look at this face here. They're doing a 1-1-1 split. Hexet is still down looting. Hopefully he doesn't blow himself up in a car this time. I don't know what happened, but I think it got caught on the team stream. Again, we've got 16 team streams. You can click on the link just below the this, obviously, stream here. We have some links for all the teams you want to see, just their POV. You can follow that. Also a map stream, of course. Dignitas on a long rotation through La Caparia. Smart choice. Vitality is going to do the same. We see it here on the map. Wildcard's going to do the same. Nova's going to do the same because they're thinking, you know, kind of not a southern plane, but, you know, through the middle. And with this kind of shift, all the roads up there, you can just come in from the north, and everybody else is going to be coming in from the south, and you're going to be having the north to yourself. But four teams thinking that already. Dignitas is going to be up there. Vitality, Nova, they might even crash or clash with each other just a little bit later in the game.
Keep in mind with this circle, we don't have water. That makes it rather obvious on the map. But that entire left side, past that precipice where that massive cliff is unplayable. So you might as well call it the equivalent of that.
Yep.
Therefore, the point I want to make on that is where Liquid are now, where STDX are heading, where M19 is following where Na'Vi just went, where Face. That rotation choke point is actually, especially because there's a massive mountain ridge between those two lower roads, there's not a lot of room. So these transitions, it's going to get a little tight down there.
Yeah, you're right. Na'Vi is just next to Face here, so they might be able to catch some teams off guard here. Liquid could be one of them. It looks like they're driving straight towards them. Obviously, this is the most zoomed out as it is. Holy, okay.
Sweet. Well, that's a win.
That's a win for Sangol. Maybe a top 5.
Again, this shifts north. Their positioning is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You just can't close the distance on them as easily as you'd like to. Not saying it's impossible.
He doesn't even have a helmet. Giger doesn't even.
Pretty good.
Oh, my God. This is an insane upgrade.
Did he? I think he already had a tier 3 bag as well, so there might be more for the taking over there, but that's sick. To get an AWM in the position that they have, super solid. Now, here we go. This is the low side of the circle. So M19, Batulin already getting into safety. They just want to watch this road because everyone is going in this direction. Top side looks interesting as well because Cabrera, where Novo, now WC late on rotation, having gone toward Azaha, are all heading. There's 2 major choke points based on roads, and no surprise to see everyone in cars at this point. I don't expect to see too many teams engage, but it's just going to be really awkward for the next shift. This is setting up for some horrible transition fights.
Wildcard doesn't care. They're driving straight through La Caparia. They're like, nope, we've been here. This is our city. We think there's nobody here. They're just going to go straight through it. Dignitas did not pick up that crate, unfortunately for them. Let's look at this. There might be some, oh, look at this. Na'Vi here have this compound. Face are just north of them in the other compound. And M19, they're just trying to sneak in the most western side. As you said, on the west side here, huge rock wall, unplayable area. So it's hard to get around that.
Yeah, that's that whole area right now around Monte Nuevo, or just sort of northwest of Monte Nuevo. is going to be a bloodbath. That is a huge firefight. I expect that it'll be on the edge of the circle at the very least, if not centralizing around Pozo. But man, oh man, that's such a tough position. M19's just trying to, like I say, play the road, watch it. Now, the other predictable transition, I think, and I say predictable, I think this is what I would have expected. I'm sure many teams would have. From Porto Paraiso, you're not going to go back up through Leon's awkwardly cut the middle of the map. So Ghost is obviously now arriving at a similar position. Penta's there as well. M19 still has information on the road. Navi's been brewed and stuck in. Now, they've been there for almost, I think, 6 minutes. They were one of the first teams to rotate.
Yeah.
But this is just going to get so
all these teams are just going to try to wedge themselves in.
I'm going to say positionally, I'm still going to stand by it. I think Sengal's got, again, depends on the shift of the circle. I think they've got some of the best positioning. Not to mention we saw them now with an AWM picked up. This is another great opportunity for them to score some huge points.
See, Zone slowly moves in, and nobody's actually outside. Koi's just going to make his way in slowly, but everybody else is inside, and it's as usually when we see in Erangel, everybody's in the center. Even if it's a town, they're going to go straight center. El Paso, nope. Nobody and again, personal opinion, in my opinion, you don't want to play a city unless you're 100% sure that it ends there, because if you have to leave it later and there's multiple teams in there, oh, nice driving, Smithy.
That's pretty awesome.
It's a,
did he take a tire? Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh,
it looked like it took a tire.
Look at the
off
shift
it.
straight on Pozo. Oh! Chronics here. Now, circle, pop, next circles come there, and all the teams are going to get ready here.
This doesn't surprise me to see this centralized around Pozo. Now, that leaves potential for, I mean, no one in the city right now, but the fact that it is center, that leaves potential for teams to start to burrow into the outlying buildings around the edge of it, because that'll give them information for the next shift as well. No surprise, therefore, to see an immediate transition. This south, look at this. I mean, that map is just cluttered with teams. Everyone, bar one player, is still alive currently. And they're basically all going to hold hands and skip together toward the inside of this circle.
Multiple teams arriving here. Knights is going to come in. Lions is going to come in. Team Gates are going to go in. Pozo, again, second circle. Well, Pozo is straight smack bang in the middle. So you kind of guarantee, because of the shifts here, you guarantee that the third, maybe even the fourth circle will have some parts of Pozo in it. So they want to play there. They want to make sure that they get into the circle.
Yeah, and that's, you saw them vacate the city after it was looted. Everyone said, you know what? No, let's hang on. You're right. Exactly what you said. It's going to come back into the circle inevitably. I want to point out something else as Moonwolf's going to get a knock on the board finally. They'll get another kill. I say finally because it's been that long since we've seen after that first engagement with Sengal and Silo. It's Liquid. This transition that they've done all the way from Picado, they've gone far west of the circle, knowing that the cliff's behind them, knowing that no one else is going to be there. And all they have to do now is, mind you, it is Liquid, so the circle's probably going to go away from them. But if they can play these transitions right and clear, like we saw they did in the last map, I'm starting to see why they are a good Miramar team, because they are reading it. Now, there is one little stipulation on that, and that's a really far transition from Vitality taking that new ring road and coming down in from Ruins, from Trailer Park. That's something that Liquid could get caught off by, but they are still considering it by the looks of it. Scoom, I think, was just looking in that direction. James is easily able to respond for it as well.
And they don't want to keep it at cost. They're edge team. They want to make sure that if they're going somewhere in the third circle, they want to make 100% sure that it's going to end there. They don't want to dish their cars until that they're certain that they can go in fruit from there. Because there's still multiple roads that you have to cross in the open here. But El Paso, look at that amount of teams in the south here. So congested in the south.
STDX has realized that as well.
Yeah.
They're going to transition hard right and try and get a little bit further north before they rejoin.
Scoom and the guys here still. Small compound, good compound to just scout everything from. You can leave your cars. It's kind of an elevated area, so they can just leave it. Wildcard on the northern side of the crater field. See if they're going to push down to Sangle later. Mexi here. He has some ideas. Again, they're playing a split. Are they looking for kills, or they're just looking for territory? Greedy territory, grabbing is just good for them. They're not inside a town, so they can allow themselves to do that. They're covering each other from multiple areas. Maybe we're trying to catch out some rotations here if they're seeing some of the teams rotate in towards El Paso. We'll see about that later.
This spread's not bad from them.
No.
Look, they've got so much individual skill they can take fights. And like you say, they know that everyone's going to be in transition. So the more that they can spread out and cover off territory to claim as their own after the shift happens, it's pretty solid. Now, so here's the rotation we talked about. They'll go just high of Nuevo before they re-enter on the STDX side. Meanwhile, Knights still very close to Lions. That seems to be a trend. There's similar colors assigned to them, and they seem to always be together on the map. It's somewhat confusing, I'm sure, to look at from range. As, FaZe in the open. Shots go out toward Fuzzface. I believe that's over on the left side. Chris is going to hear that. Now we've got the signaling between the two teams. This could also, if it focuses around the circle, similar to game 1, the very first game we had, where Wildcard picked up the win against, I believe it was Lions on the roof at that point in time of the church. It could be another situation where two teams, and Drayden's actually got Sonic, so overcommits to the peak. It could be another situation where two teams become aware that they're both in buildings and ignore each other, wait for everyone to come to them, and then engage. So keep in mind that if Pozo stays within this circle, there's going to be a little bit of cat and mouse going on, I think, between two teams that kind of have a mutual understanding, we'll call it.
I mean, again, you also got to remember the amount of durability you're going to lose on your helmets and armors. You're gonna want that for later game. If you lose a helmet to a headshot evolution, like if you only have 50% or 20% durability on your armor, then you're not going to be able to fight for the later stages. And as Brexco shoots just a little bit here, it's actually going to pop a new circle. As we can see in the minimap here with Brexco, it's actually going to be having him on the southern side, just slightly in. It's going to send it just on top of Face, and now everybody, they're going to be moving out or to El Paso because it's still slightly in. But with this circle here, it's only just slightly in the north. So as I talked about earlier, you only want to play the city unless you know 100% that it's ending there, and it's only like a 30% chance that it's going to shift north.
Tell me when you ever saw a third circle with that many steering wheels assigned to players' names.
Right,
you definitely don't get that on Erangel.
No. Sometimes on rotations, but not in the third circle, as you pointed out. Knights, though, they saw that. They want to leave. They want to play outside in the open here, so they're going to be taking some of the cratered areas around the fields. Now, Sangle is going to make a move as well. They're going to be taking over the northern part of El Paso. Wildcard, though, they've spotted them, so they're taking shots at them. Sharp shot, headshot on the BSD, and he's going to be finished up by his teammate, so that's 1 kill for Wildcard.
Transition
still 61 alive in the third circle here. It just talks to how many teams can be accommodated in this area here. And Wildcard.
Oh no.
Kickstart. Oh,
you've done this yesterday.
Right,
he blew up in one of these Murados yesterday. I would, leave that there.
Yeah.
Just get rid of it. She's a smoking gun at this point. He's still catching them out, though. He's the one that saw that flip happen. Calamador's gone down. AWM with a sharp shot. He's got the kill, indeed. That AWM is starting to play off, and indeed he is a sharp shot with it. And forget about meds being a problem. There's one on the ground. I'm sure he's got some anyway. They'll get Shaky's back up as they retreat to the red farm. Now, that is a revive going the way of WC, keeping it in mind that they are getting very, very aggressive onto Sengal, who had position on the hill, forced down it. We're caught in transition, and that single knock inside the door means they have to disengage. By the time they go back in, though, Shaxi was patient, and it pays off as WC very nearly closed the distance. No smokes down to the window, and Shaky's had all the vision that he needed. Tumai still going to rotate back in. He's got support system, but he gets behind them. That's the only kill going in their favor. He's got to try and clutch this back on his own. He's got his teammate and Kickstarter's still alive, but outside of the building, they'll spot each other in. Tier 3 helmet down. AWM is on his back, and Tumai says that, no thanks, you're not using that. I'll happily come back to gather that after we find your remaining teammate who is in the corner, and that is not a bad position at all for WC. Sure, okay, kills his teammate on the way by, but he'll get the res. Sangal gets wiped after what looked like they were going to be in another fantastic position. They go out in 16th, and that AWM now changes hands.
It's going to go into the hands of Wildcard. We'll see what's going to happen with that later. They have to leave El Paso. Everybody's trying to exit it now. We still have set to destroy. They're going to set up a gatekeep. M19, they're going to be able to get out of El Paso. And as I said, then they don't want to stay in.
Haxity's just got a crate. I didn't see what he got, but they have center circle, and he's just got looted up pretty considerably. So obviously going to have a tier 3 helmet, and there you go. Not as powerful, the ghillie on Miramar, obviously.
Not the green one, at least. You do have the other color one, which is slightly more brownish, sand color-ish, which is, it's okay. Better. I like it. It's better, but still it stands out a bit more. The green one on Erangel, absolutely insane though. 4x only on the
AWM.
Yeah, not. Personal preference? What scope? Yeah, 8
times for sure on the AWM.
Also in the car or what?
Yes, lately, yes. I used to be a 4 times car. Yes, exactly. The fact that I can zoom in and out. I used to be a 4 times car 98 now I'm all 8 times. If I have that luxury, that is.
6 or 8 times for me as well. I love it. It's the good ones. The zoomable. When you can zoom, it's just so much better. Still, lots of teams in here, and I'll also see a nice overhead view of it. Phased, I think they're literally considering how many kills can we get here? Are we going to stay here with the next shift? It's actually going to shift a bit more on the south. We see Knights here. The map going to be shown here. Panzer's going to be straight in the middle. And now Hexeti with this compound straight in the middle. Fuzzface, GMT, the guys from FaZe, they're going to be moving straight over to Hexeti, making sure that they can take this center compound and hold it down with the whole team.
Make note of Liquid. We're going to come back to this. They're showing once again they're reading transitions very well. As anyone that spotted them know that they've got the south of the circle, but you're right. It's FaZe getting aggressive. Fuzzface is caught. O'Connell's got the kill, and they're going to push off of this. He's trying desperately to get in, but it's Andy in the car that's already gotten close. Survivor's running in from the backside of STDX as well, but they'll take advantage of a single knock and a nade. Is it going to go far enough? It's near the car. Fuzzface is up, but they're both going down. As Andy, the stand-in, showing some style as he throws out a beautiful nade. Again, O'Connell, he's aware of the situation. FaZe again is under threat of going out extremely early. It was 16th in the first Miramar game. It might now be 15th if not careful, as Haxi does as the last man standing catch one in transition, and Andy, he'll be finished off as a result of it, but that gives away Haxiti's position. Priority buildings do create for some evasion because Adudukaz needs a teammate inside with him. If he chases him up the stairs, Haxiti can easily drop back down on the outside. They've got to read this. Haxiti's the one that was tier 3'd up as well, so he's got the ability to fight, but with 3 players trying to come in behind.
Mexi got both Fuzzface and GMT up. Look at this, they're pushing it now. Mexi's gonna take down O'Connell, finish him off as well. Now Moon's down to 2, and Fuzzface and the guys from FaZe, they're all up at 4th again.
That's tunnel vision if I've ever seen it. I didn't think he would even be given the chance to get those reses. I thought Haxiti was going to have to do all the work. Mexi's back down once more. So remember, these were the naded players. Gempty's on his own, but he can cover this situation because Fuzz is back on the res once more, and they have to rotate directly toward him. FaZe, I don't know how they've done it, but they have. They've stayed alive and in this fight. Moonwolf looked like they had every right to knock them out.
This is actually a kind of a scary compound as well. You have so many riches and everything around it, so it's easily breachable. You can park your car where it's not going to be seen from this compound. And that's exactly what Moonwolf did to breach this compound. Perfect position and very good transition here from them. Unfortunately, a nade and 2 knocks is not enough. You're not going to take FaZe down just with 2 kills or 2 knocks on a nade.
Yeah, that's the unbelievable part, isn't it? Because it looked like that was a foregone conclusion. So too with WC. They get 2 knocks and they engage. The knocks really allow for the engagement, and yet Moonwolf couldn't close it unlike WC did against Sangol. So they'll play around each other. Moonwolf now knows they've got a massive problem because if you poke the bear, it's only going to bite back harder, and FaZe are certainly awoke to the fact that they are inside of that compound now with them. Wookie Bookie trying to go for some more long shots as always. As Tumai continues to be impressive. He'll find Chris from Lions after the early engagement from them has fallen apart. They're not yet inside of the circle, and keep in mind that Exco's trying to snake right now for Gates as well. I don't think he's really going to have much chance in it. It looks like he's actually just sitting trying to heal up in the blue. Meanwhile, M19, team we haven't talked about much in this game aside from a very early positioning toward that lower road.
Oh, look at this. Dignity completely taken out by Ghost. Out in 15 for them. Unfortunately, they're sitting in the comfort of the top 5 at the moment. So that's going to hurt their standings just a bit. Moonwolf and FaZe still in the middle. Panther in a good position as well. This is what I like about these zones here. You have so many hills you can fight. But look at that. I talked about this earlier. You don't want to go into a city unless you 100% know it's going to end there. Multiple teams did that. They're now fighting on the north side. We have 4 teams up there just fighting for it.
Which brings back Liquid's incredible game sense. They read that and went immediately south side of this transition and said, guys, everyone's in Pozo. They've got that whole circle to work with. And who's the other team that's doing a very similar approach? It's Ghost again. If you wanted that showdown last game, you might still get it this time. It's going to go down inside of the blue after being knocked. Fignoldo's going to take out Tumai. So Wildcard now in a wild situation. Jazz is trying to get healed up inside of the smoke. There's so many players down in one position, and Nova wants to 3rd man in on this, but Integrate, he's already gone down as well, and so too will Smithies. They're getting picked apart by Jazza, who's gotten heals off, but gets back up. He's got to run off this time. Very little to work with. 1 shot will do it, but he needs to res his teammates. He needs to decide which way he wants to go in this fight. Smokes will still favor him, and he can see Smithies, but he'll commit to the heal. Instead, Nate goes in, and down goes Vitality. And Nova, 3rd manning in, will just barely, as the 3rd man alive, will save the other 2.
Fantastic here. Great position, as you said here. 3rd man coming down here to take this Lost HD on the top of the hill. They're making able, or oh, look at this, and the 3rd party coming in.
I don't know if they have time because Navi's now heard all of this. That nade is amazing. Is it going to go too far? It rolls just barely over the hill. That would have been an incredibly long and very skilled throw. But it does draw the attention of Loss, who's scouting and allowing for his teammates to get reses in, and Navi's disengaged. They realize if that nade didn't hit, they've lost the chance, and they need to get toward the circle. They're going to have company. Liquid's there now, too. Ghost has gone back out around. They've gone completely around Liquid. They've bypassed FaZe. They've bypassed Liquid. Penta's going to battle off with them. Novo now will engage. Na'Vi's in the open. And this battle really defines the top side of the circle because STDX are also nearby, but Nova's got the at least strength in numbers at this point in time, so as long as they can avoid Na'Vi, who are still going to be throwing nades back in that direction.
Mix is going to take down EB. And now the fight for the compound here is going to go down. Look at this eastern, northeastern side completely open. Knights has a good position here in the hills. Na'Vi as well, but everybody is on the western side. You have 10 teams on the western side. Knights is on the eastern side.
Penta and Ghost are also going to be in a game. So there's 3 battles for position. Penta and Ghost for the south side, the southwest side for Liquid, Moonwolf, and FaZe, and then obviously the fight we've been following at the north, which is heating up because Lions are about to be taken down and bow out early, and they will. They're going to go out in 11th place, which is a problem because this is the map that's carried most of their success as STDX now, with only 2 players have Fignaldo trying to capitalize on Nova's position. They can't do it. Survivor's going to be picked apart. Does push, though, to find one. Smithy goes down. He'll finish it. Take no chances. His teammate unfortunately goes down and succumbs to the nade, but he's got a chance to still make a play in this, and he's pushed Purdy off of it. Interrogate gone. Nova suddenly get picked apart by 2 STDX players, and it's North Americans, Canadian orgs going to battle at the northern position on the circle. That seems somewhat fitting, if you ask me. Coffee, meanwhile, this is the battle we talked about in the south. Penta was fortified already inside of this compound. A Ghost want to try and penetrate it, push them out, clear the position, and then they'll be able to control the fight. Na'Vi has found FaZe.
Taking them down in 10th place here. Super unfortunate for them now. Liquid is going to fight with Moonwolf, and they're going to take down Ibiza. Skoom is going to return on rush out. Meanwhile, Profi is just sitting in this shack, just waiting here, and the zone is going to go north. Circle has gone away. Moonwolf is eliminated on 9th position. Liquid survived that. I'm not sure how many they got alive, though. It looks like this leads 2 or 3, maybe even 4. We'll see with that.
Question for me is, does Ghost engage or not? They don't need to take this fight with Penta. Sure, they know that they're going to evade the building as well, but they could transition over to the right side and try and get away. In doing so, they've got a slight ridge that they can play, so long as they can get past where Profi is positioned. So smoke going, excuse me, that's a nade. It is a smoke, all right. I was right the first time, should have trusted myself. Smoke going to the doorway. I'm wondering if he's trying to buy space so his team can do exactly that. Penta, they'll get into battle. Meanwhile, it's Uba toward the top side once again that's going to get aggressive. Rotate around. Na'Vi, if they can take out Survivor, will cover off. Now the field comes into play. Purdy's going to try and snake in it. And the fact that Knights want to go toward the crate and play these hay bales does give them some coverage, but the ridge line above has a lot more to play and offer. It's ultimately a survival tactic playing in that position in the circle.
Survivor taking down both Drainy and Shade here. He's single-handedly fighting off Na'Vi. 2 knocks already. He's got a very good ridge to play with, as you see here. Uba and Pokémon, they got to go for the rest. As Drainy is going to be taking off first because he's the most lowest. Profi, though, is going to take down Chronix. And there's going to be thrown Molotovs, and a full-on fight is going to go on with Penta and Ghost. He's going to come around the corner. He's going to take him down. Insane play by Brexo here. Nice push around the corner, being able to clear it.
Great read. McCoy thought he was able to support that, and he wasn't actually peeking the right side. Breaksco taking down Profi has made this very, very problematic for Ghost. And they need to move. I mean, this transition has to happen. Okay, McCoy's backed out far enough now that Balak actually can head that same direction. They don't necessarily have to commit to this. They can transition away. Meanwhile, Liquid has gone directly toward Na'Vi as Kaint still tries to fire up toward the top of the hill. Fantastic shot from McCoy with that ACOG sight, excuse me. This is where the battle now becomes. Look at Jeeves over the hill. Wanted to try and finish off Drainy. Gets caught out. Skoom's going to fire back. Samty's gone down. Na'Vi holding firm. And Liquid yet again are finding problems in a map that they've been dominant and showing class on. They just seem to get caught out ever so slightly in the last fight that defines their entire game. Uba's got to go for this revive, though. They've got the high ground to do it. Liquid's got the opportunity to try and do the same. Nope, they're going to bail. Skoom's going to leave Samty. He's now got to play this alone. Penta's gone left. Ghost has gone right. And that's going to open up a massive fight to the bottom side. Survivor and Purdy can suddenly snake this. And who else left for M19? Who seems to be the snake every single time. But Zimpel's going to do the same in the middle. Does manage to find Udyr. He's still pushing on. Good finish onto him as well. But the Blues all over him. And he's got no time to heal. He's going to go down as well. Picked off by Na'Vi at a long distance. It's Maladoy that's done the shot. Ooh, but how many kills does Na'Vi have right now? This is a game and a half for them. The fact that they were able to control Liquid's positioning as well, huge, huge situation to find themselves in. And don't discount Knights. They've got 3 players still in this. We've not talked about them at all, but they've just been quietly going about business on the quiet side of the circle, quite frankly.
Yeah, they had this whole southeastern circle to themselves, just controlling that hillside was so important for them. And now they've got the only half cover in the current turn zone. Together with Purdy, he's just chilling in the north here. And now Uber is going to take down Kane. Now Penta is out in 8th position. 3 guys alive, 9 kills with still 11 left. So they got 8 more potential kills. A lot of snakes. We got Scoom, we got Example, we've got Purdy, we've got Survivor, and we've got McCoy. So 5 solo players versus Knights, who has 3. And Na'Vi on the top side in the high elevated area with 3 as well.
Uber commits. The confidence almost can be misleading a little bit for Knights and Na'Vi in this situation where they both have 3. That there's so many snakes alive. They better be on top of it. Obviously, they can see how many teams are left, but they better be on top of reading that situation, because these snakes, all they have to do is third man or crossfire these situations, and it's not unfathomable that one of these guys picks up the win in doing so.
This could be another Knight victory.
Tex gets inside of the middle of the circle, and Na'Vi's transition begins. Koi needs to get closer, Scoom as well. I think Purdy's going to be quite all right in this situation, because the battle's going to be to the south of him. Good find from Uba. He's immediately taken down Scoom. So Liquid bow out. They're gone in 7th position. So a 3rd and a 7th on Miramar so far today. And Na'Vi, the team who was in 2nd as we started our Miramar campaign, can actually take a massive points haul again over FaZe, who went out so early on. In this, all things considered, Pokemolidoy is going to catch out Purdy. He's gone. Another team eliminated as Nova go down and completely removed. So too will Survivor as STDX bow out. It's really coming to be Na'Vi's game, but McCoy has been extremely coy and quiet as he wants to work up the side of the hill, and now it's Zimple that's going to try and thwart all possibilities of Na'Vi's win as well. Headshot easily available, but McCoy's trying to play this to his odds. Play this out as long as he can. And Knights, they're reading the kill feed and playing this as patient as they dare, because they know Na'Vi are in a much more timid position than they are. I say that, and they'll be engaged by Zimple. McCoy's going to strike. Down goes 1. McCoy's taking out Shade. That brings Na'Vi 1 less, but he'll be found immediately after. Traded out by Pokemolidoy. They now go down to 2 on the Na'Vi side. At Knights are capitalizing. They hear this. They don't want to wait for the shift. They want to try and engage. They know Na'Vi's weakened up, and they know that's the only other full team, or thereabout, I should say, still in this. Example, he's just waiting inside of a bush in the middle, hoping desperately that this goes his way.
This is a snake and a half. He even left a first aid kit to make sure he could take it off his backpack, so he's filling much less on the screen. And look at this, Texas can't even see him, but Uba, Pokemon, they're just gonna lay on their stomachs here until they have to move. Texas, Drayden are inside the zone. Krama on a huge flank to make sure that when they run, they're gonna get a huge amount of pressure from the western side here.
Krama as well going to that high ground.
Example, is he going to get spotted ever? He's been here in 10 minutes.
I mean, you called that he dropped that medkit, but he did drop it exactly where he's lying.
Yeah.
So he did try and make himself smaller, but it is kind of also visible in the same sense. So it's a bit of a catch-22. We'll see if Pokemolidoy even does realize that he's there. He's throwing nades rather optimistically over the edge of the hill, hoping that he'll catch someone waiting down below. I think Eximple's going to at least get a kill out of this, surely. He's not moving, doesn't want to give anything away. Knights still holding off on the inside of the field. And as I was mentioning, they've left Krama well over to the west. So 2 already holding the circle, and Krama trying to create crossfires. Exactly that, because Drayden engages. Krama just has to hold the secondary angle. Drayden's now going to take Uba completely out of this. So Knights in a prime position, and Pokemolidoy, he's transitioning back through the blue to deny. He doesn't want to give away any further kills. The Snake and Zimple, he's going to have to move, but Knights are going to pick up another chicken dinner out of this.
I think so. It's very... Look at this top 2 with 0 kills. You're going to get 2nd place. There's going to be 0 kills. It's going to be spotted. And that's a chicken dinner for the Knights. The Pittsburgh Knights. Fantastic play by them. Very good decision making, making sure that they could get into the zone, taking down and holding down the southeastern side, because nobody wanted to play the open fields until the later stages of the game. So they take a very good Knights fight here. Voxic unfortunately did go out early, but all the other players did get 2 kills each. So 6 kills in total.
And well, and the late night Knights, because it has been the case that they won the 6th game yesterday. They've won our 5th game today. So they seem to be coming on in the later stages of the event. FaZe again struggle now a little bit further this time. Did get into some pretty awkward duels, but they go down outside of the top 10 once again. Or there, but I think
that they got 10th. Yeah.
Okay, 9th
yeah.
or 10th. Excuse me, because it's not actually come up on our screen as of yet. That's still a huge point haul. And the fact that Na'Vi go that far is closing the gap tremendously.
Yeah, I mean, them dying 16th and 10th in these 2 games is going to open up the leaderboards even more, with Na'Vi being 2nd, you know?
Yes.
They might be even catch them completely and even overtake it. We'll see.
The one thing you have to wonder is the 2 teams that look the most impressive in transition on this map, to me at least, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you know the game far greater than I do, but Ghost and Liquid. Unfortunately, Ghost has had the circle, and Liquid just can't buy a break. Again, that time, every circle went away from them after they made that extremely wise and huge transition all the way through the first circle.
I mean, as you pointed out, Ghost and Liquid, some of the teams that has the best rotational skills, strategic approach to the circles is very important to the first to third. But once you get on foot, you got to be a bit lucky or have an extremely good approach, because there's going to be so many teams alive. And, you know, if you have 3 teams between you and a circle, it's going to be super hard because you don't have that much time. Yes, the zone does close a lot slower than it does on, you know, on the normal play, but you don't have enough time to fight 3 teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems the case on Miramar that it's always like 2/3 of the circle is playable and one is just like a massive open terrain. So if that shift goes across that terrain and you're on the wrong side of it, it's like, well, great. This is just,
we saw
like
that exactly. I mean, the 6th circle had, you know, 60% or so, or 40% or whatever it was, off just one big open space. Yeah, there was some hay bales, some rocks and everything, but nobody played it. The majority of the teams, they were on the west side, on the northwestern side, until the southeastern side. So the whole northeastern side and the north side was just open on the eastern side for that.
Which, interestingly, I agree with you. I would have said avoid that, but Knights took the opposite approach and said they're just going to go in there. Maybe they had enough smokes that they thought they could rotate out.
Yeah.
But they figured out, all right, if everyone's going to fight up here, we'll at least get down there and we'll have the whole vision. But yeah, that's a risky call. It worked out for them, and they're now with Dave.